We're now going to hear about a public television station in St. Louis, which is producing a public affairs program that deliberately seeks to engage its viewers through social media. We'll also hear from experts on how second screen strategies are being developed by commercial networks and stations. The result could be not just a good business plan, but a way to open up a new forum for civic engagement and problem solving at a time when such a forum is sorely needed.
One of the key elements of journalism has always been, before the book, is creating a public forum. Creating and maintaining a public forum has always been an issue of journalism and always an issue for journalists. And this experiment with Jack Galmish and his team at KETC, the 9 network in St. Louis, was created to see if social media could increase the size and the diversity, the depth of the public forum. And the tool, obviously, was going to be social media. That's our mission. If we put social media on steroids, if we use it more aggressively, which our presenters will talk about, if we use it more aggressively, can we make the public forum better and improve a piece of journalism? And that's the plan, and we're going to explain it to you over the next hour.
5 years ago, our board of directors asked us the question, how do we remain relevant as a public television station in a world of digital abundance? And so we thought that was relatively simple to answer. So we set forth on a 5-year journey to answer that question. And I'd like to share with you today just one road that we took on that journey. Before we tell you about Stay Tuned, the program that we developed with RJI, I'd like to give you a little bit of background on why we did it. Why would we take on this type of initiative, and why was the use of social media such an integral part of our decision to go down this road? So the 9 Network is a network of media platforms and a network of community partners addressing key issues in our community, where we go into the community and we authentically listen to the community. If one thing we've done over the past 5 years is become better at, and that's listening. Just listening to our community and what the real concerns are for the key issues in our community. So our community told us about these issues, and as they did that, it became apparent that what they were telling us is that these were failures, market failures of the community to align around some very important issues in our community: education, health and healthcare, arts and culture, science and technology, energy and the environment, and what we call community life. We also, in this process, identified some top organizations within our community. So in addition to our relationship with the University of Missouri, we work with many of the direct service nonprofits within our community. And through this relationship of media and the organizations in our community, it is as if we are the Air Force providing air coverage for these many issues, and these organizations are the Army, going into the community to take on these key issues on the ground. We also were told that in these many conversations that there was a need for a trusted forum to have conversations around these many issues, and that brings us to Stay Tuned. Stay Tuned is a program that airs once a week, but it's actually a place. It's a place where members of our community come to discuss important issues of the day, problems that need to be addressed, and the opportunities to improve the economic and social prosperity of our community interpreted. And we spent an awful lot of time looking at how we authentically engage the community and how we always adhere to the principles of sound journalism. You know, in St. Louis, we went on air over 58 years ago. We were one of the very first public television stations to go on air. And here we are 58 years later, and believing that the technology has finally caught up with our mission. And our mission was to provide education and to provide a place for civil discourse. And we believe that the technology enables us to do that. You know, as we consider this notion of a second screen, there are those who believe that the experience with a mobile device oftentimes is more valuable than that with the television. That actually the second screen is the primary screen of the mobile device, and the television is the second screen.
Jack really gave a good overview, bird's eye view, and I'm just going to really kind of dive in for 2 minutes and really talk about the strategy, that what we're doing. No one has really written the book. on how to do this. And I'm going to say that again, no one has really written the book on what we were about to do. Really to kind of go counter to that first video of, rather than making it inauthentic, to ask, just to kind of do our own journalism and just put, well, tweet us if you agree or disagree. We wanted to embed that in a live television show so it could shape the entire program. During the broadcast, we engage the networks on the show topic. That's fairly, I think, robust, and there's been a lot written on that. When you're doing it, you're just engaging. We have our students responding. We have people fact-checking. So our experts, if there is criticism, we're doing that live during the show. That is some software that I use to capture everyone's avatar as they have a conversation with us, so that I can go back and see, what is my demographic? Who am I talking to? For us, we found it's 18 to 35 African American, mostly female. But we have a wide variety of ages in there as well. St. Louis City, urban core.
Really, when it all boils down to this, what are we trying to accomplish? This is a question I always ask our team as we go through various different projects. It was one of the things that we discussed early on with Stay Tuned. Clearly, we wanted a younger audience. Ed has shown you some demographic information that demonstrates that we're actually hitting that target audience. Great. So now what? So we're starting to move from simply counting the number of people who are talking to what does it mean? We also measure our impact in three ways. Way number one, we want to know if we developed awareness. Again, retweets is an aspect of awareness. We content analyze the data to see what's going on. Next level, do they understand? Is there a knowledge transfer? Are they taking that information and making it their own? And then third, have we moved them to action? We've had very little in the movement of action, but you can see that we're kind of trending up in there.
I liken Facebook to the biggest marketing platform ever created since television. And now how we harness that is what we'll kind of talk a little bit about today. People use television, heavily in the morning. They don't use it much during the day. They use it heavily in the evening. People use laptops and computers heavily during the day. It becomes your television at work. The first thing you pick up is your mobile. And it's growing exponentially. You pick it up in the morning and you don't put it down until you go to bed at night. It's the first screen you look at. It's the second screen you look at. Simply putting comments on the air is not good television. We've done plenty of dial tests where when that happens, people look the other way because that's not what television was designed to do. But just similarly to assigning a reporter to go cover a story, when you as a television station post something on Facebook, you're essentially starting a town meeting on whatever the topic might be. And so you have to go in there and you have to call out the good stuff and come back and report it. But again, people don't want to see Facebook as it is on television. They want you to pull the salient points from it and move on.
What you'll notice is that whether it's with a smartphone or a tablet, regardless of your age, unless you're 65 or older, upwards of 50 to 60% of Americans are using these second screen devices while watching television at least several times a week. That doesn't necessarily mean they're using them directly to engage with TV. They may be doing totally different things with them that aren't related to our content, but the opportunity is at least there. What kind of content do I provide if I've got somebody who's assigned to add this additional tagged material into this second screen experience? How am I going to staff this, especially at a smaller local television station? Who's going to do it? Is it one more burden for a producer or associate producer to take on top of all the other jobs that they have to do? Or do I decide to invest in personnel whose only job or their primary job is to engage in second screen and social media? We are trying at RJI to answer some of these questions. We don't have the answers right now, but especially as it pertains to local television news, one of the things that we hope to do this summer, this fall, is engage in a project where we can develop a native second screen experience for local television news, figure out how it works into the workflow, what personnel are assigned, how we get the content and get it into the app in a timely fashion, and most importantly, how we make sure that it's sustainable.